Oh yeah, I see it. Alhamdulillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذرياته وأهل البيت كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إني أسألك من كل خير سألك من محمد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك من محمد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم بما منا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من فتنة المحيا والممات ومن فتنة القبر ومن فتنة المسير الجالي ومن عذاب النار وسوء المصير. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to our weekly Maliki Fiqh class with our Shaykh, our senior Shaykh, Shaykh Ameen Abdul Awal. May Allah preserve him and increase him and reward him for all that he continues to do for us and has done for us over the course of many years. Before some of us were born, he was working for us. So we keep him in our dua. My name is Brother Habib Rasul. As those of you who have been joining us, consistently now know, I am, I usually host the classes and introduce the Shaykh. This class has been brought to you by Nasr Ilm America, which is a philanthropic organization dedicated to promoting Islamic knowledge and working to benefit the people. And it was inspired by the work and the legacy of Sheikh Hassan Sisi. May Allah be pleased with him, the great Senegalese Islamic scholar and humanitarian. And we are also under the, guidance and mentorship of Shaykh Ameen. And as I said in the past, we, asked him if he would be willing to provide these classes with us online in the context of the pandemic. Normally, these classes will be very important to take advantage of these classes for those who have the ability to in person. But alhamdulillah, he was gracious enough to do something a little different and let us benefit online virtually. And also, I want to just make mention of our president of Nasr Ilm America, Brother Ajib Abdul Salam, Haji Ajib Abdul Salam. Please keep him and your family in your dua. So alhamdulillah, welcome. I want to congratulate everyone for being here today. And I pray that Allah Ta'ala give us all the reward of coming and visiting one another for his sake and visiting our teacher, Shaykh Ameen, for his sake, for Allah's sake, and seeking to benefit from this knowledge. And as always, I pray that Allah Ta'ala help us to implement this knowledge in a way that is pleasing to him. So right now in the world, there is some interesting things happening. Allah Ta'ala has let us know, or rather the Prophet ﷺ has informed us through the hadith. Of course, it's still Allah letting us know. But the Prophet ﷺ informed us in the hadith that Allah would not take the knowledge away from the Muslims by taking it out of the hearts, out of the breast of the scholars, of the knowledgeable people, the men and women who've dedicated themselves to learning and teaching. But rather, he would do it by taking the scholars, by, causing the scholars to return to him, to pass away. And right now, there have been many, many, many big scholars around the world, including some of the big Maliki authorities who have been passing away. Also, we see in the American context, and if you don't know about this, alhamdulillah, you've been spared from having to hear about this. But in the American context, there's always these different scandals popping up. Seems like every couple of weeks I hear about, or every couple of months I hear about another scandal of somebody who was supposed to be in charge of the Muslims who lost their way or engaged in some bad behavior. So this is a time where we all need to really, really prioritize being in the company of the good people in general, and especially the good people with knowledge, right? And especially our elders who have knowledge, who have been around the block, who have a track record of taking care of taking proper care of their amana, proper care of the trust that they have to guide the Muslims in the right way. It's a confusing time. I know a lot of sincere, good people who get taken for rides, who, you know, they follow somebody, they find somebody that they think has knowledge, they think knows Islam, and they follow them, and then they end up having a bad experience. So we've been very, very blessed and fortunate, and have to say alhamdulillah for the fact that we have someone like Shaykh Ameen. Not someone like Shaykh Ameen, but the fact that we have Shaykh Ameen, right? And we have people like Sheikh Mai and Imam Sheikh Tijani. You know, we've been very fortunate in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has favored us to guide us to people like this and to put us in their company. So just hearing about the stuff that's going on in the world, it made me want to, you know, mention this to the group to kind of encourage everyone to really, you know, continue to take this seriously. Or if you haven't been taking this very seriously, start to take this very seriously. You know, we pray that Allah give Shaykh Ameen long life and good health and make his way easy and continue to give us the opportunity to benefit from him. But none of us know when any of us is going to get called back to return to Allah. You know, I could be the next one to go. Allahu Alam. We don't know, you know. So we have to take advantage of the time that we have. Sheikh Ibrahim Yas, may Allah be pleased with him, the great scholar from Senegal who was Sheikh Hassan's grandfather and one of the greatest scholars of the 20th century. He in one of his poems, he mentioned, he said, "Wahris al awqat ayya hirsi." We have to be very very covetous of our time. We have to really, you know, take care to do the best thing that we can with our time. You know, and our martyr, you know, for the Muslims here in the West and in this time, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, he made a statement, and I'm paraphrasing the quote. He said something like, you know, nothing determines, you know, how successful we're going to be in life more so than how we spend our time. So we need to spend our time wisely, and we need to be thankful for and not take for granted the opportunity to spend time in the company with Sheikh Ameen and the good people, right? And we have to continue to help each other. The Prophet ﷺ told the people they have to help the people whether they're doing good or bad. And they asked, they said, Ya Rasulullah, we know how to help the people when they're doing good, but how do we help the people when they're doing bad? He said, by advising them to stop doing the bad. So we have to take care of each other. We have to listen to people like Sheikh Ameen. You know, Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says that, you know, we have to obey Allah and obey the Messenger and obey the people that have been put in authority over us. And for sure, Sheikh Ameen is one of these people that's been put in authority over us. So we have to learn how to be obedient. We have to learn how to continue to keep company with him and the good people. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to protect us from the different fitnas of the time that we see are plaguing some of the people around us. So that's the only reminder I wanted to give for today. And I hope, you know, something is beneficial in it. And if I said anything wrong, I pray Allah forgive me. And without further ado, I am going to turn my camera off and turn it over to our teacher, Sheikh Ameen Abdul Awal. But first, let me just give the reminder that if anybody has any questions, please type them in the chat. You can also, after Sheikh Ameen is finished, you can raise your hand and, you know, you can speak your question if you rather do it that way. But go ahead and, as you think of questions, type them in the chat so that we don't have a lull. When Sheikh Ameen is finished with the lesson, we can jump right into the question and answers, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Ameen.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أنا بعد. So every time I hear the word Sheikh Ameen, I cringe. I cringe because only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who I am, what I do, and what I've been doing and everything over all my years of being a Muslim, or hoping I'm a Muslim. And so, you know, I learned from my teacher that, we have to do introspection of ourselves, honest introspection of ourselves over and over and over and over again, all the time, not just some of the time. So, I don't want to give people the wrong impression. I'm like I'm not no superhero or something. It's just that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put me in a position to try to help the people. And initially I just wanted to help my family initially, you know. But Dr. Dennis saw something about my memory and he wanted me to do a little bit more than that. So here we are. I was having a talk with Ishaq, our IT man, before the class started, and I was talking to him about all the luxurious and pointed talks I have given over the years. It always has the same results. The results are people come up to me after the lecture and they say, "Oh, Shaykh Ameen, that was such a great lecture. Alhamdulillah, we really like that lecture." And alhamdulillah that they like the lecture, but that's not the point I'm making the lecture for. Is for action, not for people's, pleasure that they say, "Oh, we love it, Shaykh." I mean, but if you love something, you have to do something to 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 uh to show your love. Saying it doesn't mean anything. See, you gotta do something, to show that you're gonna try and accentuate this love by doing something with the knowledge and information you have. So, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow me to live any longer, we're gonna attempt to do some type of meat store business here near the Islamic Cultural Center in New York that for the life of me I could never understand how they don't have a meat store business. But I think it comes from the fact that the rents in this part of the country are extremely high. So, I think that maybe people don't really want to take a chance. So they're not like, they're not approaching business near the masjid or in this vicinity because of that. But I'm a firm believer in the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can help with it. Whatever you try to help yourself to, He can help you the rest of the way, inshallah. So, I'm trying to gather enough people that they are willing to take a chance and try to build this business because our legacy right now is not a good legacy. Our legacy right now is mostly talk. But we want to leave something for our grandchildren and our children and their children and so on and so forth, so that we won't always be the citizens on the lower rung of the ladder. We want business, not just one business. We want businesses all across this land, inshallah. And it's possible, it's doable. It's doable. But we have to believe that we can do it. We have to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will aid us in this endeavor and put our right foot forward and try and do what we can do and ask Allah to complete the rest of the tasks that we could do without Him. So, this is my advice to the people. My advice to the people is You got to come out of your closets, you know, and you have to put your trust in something. You have to put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know, in the laws of fiqh, it goes like this. If one or two people say, oh, Shaykh so and so, he been doing this or that. So the jurist will ask, well, when did this happen? They say, last week. They would say, well, who else knows about that? And then it would need some reputable good people to confirm that this happened last week or something, and that, you know, this sheikh or that sheikh, he's guilty of something. MashaAllah. But in fact, you know, it needs a number of people. It can't be like one or two people that's, making allegations. It have to be quite a few people, actually. And the bigger thing, for those people who don't know it, is if it's like something that is common knowledge, that they have a lot of people that are saying the same thing that actually have seen that, then you have to believe them, according to the jurist. You have to believe it. But if it's like one person or two people, you don't have to believe them. As a matter of fact, it's on a higher scale to hide their problem. To hide their problem. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, if you hide that person's problem, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may hide some problems of yours when we meet him. So, people have to like really be careful shooting arrows. Because many times, when you shoot an arrow at somebody, if it don't hit the target, if that arrow is not for that person, the arrow is going to return back to the one who shot it. And nobody wants to be in that position, because with the shooting of that arrow also goes backbiting and slander and those type of things. So, and if it's something like from 20 or 30 years ago, you don't even talk about that. It has no meaning. It's pointless. See, in any case, people do what they do, and we're not able to like control the populace. But I can tell you honestly, we're in a very mixed up position. They have made marijuana 100% legal in this part of the country. And everybody thinks it's like, oh, what a great thing, and now they're smoking everywhere you go. They changed the criminal side of it to make smoking non-criminal now. They won't even stop you if you smoking riding in your car, and smoke is coming out the window. They smell weed. They just let it go. They're told to just let it go. Don't use that as a complaint anymore. So this is where we are. We're in a place that gambling, what I mean is the lottery, the instant win, or what, I don't know what the name of those things are, but they have so many now because the government is in business with gambling. Government is in business with gambling. One. The other one is prostitution type stuff is all over the TV, all over the TV. You watching something, and then here comes somebody telling you about making dates off the phone. You can get up and go do it right now, they tell you. And this is not only individual companies. This has state-run facilities, and you got rampant alcoholism, and you got the new one is legalized marijuana. Interest is what this country is built on. And this is why the big scholars doubt that this country, under its conditions that it's in, will ever be able to be compatible with Islam. Meaning that whatever they do, it would be okay with us because we're compatible. But in fact, we're not compatible. And this is why I'm always trying to remind people, you have to make monies. You have to start buying properties that you can kind of isolate, the Muslims who want to be isolated from this dunya. As long as we have to be here, we have to try to protect ourselves and our families. And one of the best ways to do that is to own your own properties so you can set the measure you want set for what goes on your land. So most people, they'll just say, I don't pay him no attention. Yeah. It's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But what I'm telling you is an absolute necessity. This is not something that you can, just walk away from and think it's always going to be okay. Because I'm telling you, what Islam is about is not what America is about. And the people that run America, they're not about what we're trying to accomplish. As a matter of fact, the only reason that we're not under attack is because we're not organized and unified enough to be a threat. We're not organized or unified enough to be any type of threat. So, I'm just trying to give you some things that, you need to put into your thought pattern. Can't keep going every day with the same thing from years ago. It's time to put up or shut up. It's time to put up or shut up. Okay. Thank you for listening. So now they're talking about the prayer, purification, and how much time is needed before the new prayer comes in to consider that you are in violation of the time meaning like what we call the adda time and the qadda time. The adda time meaning the good time, the qadda time meaning the overdue time for prayer. So they say infidelity, they don't really give you a good they don't give you a lot of time to remove infidelity, and they don't give you a lot of time to remove the impurities of infidelity. So it's like if you become a Muslim and take a Shahada, they want you to immediately start, cleaning yourself up, making a ghusl, learning how to pray, and these type of things. And they say the reason they don't give them a lot of extra free time to do this, take their time to do it, is because an individual could have removed infidelity from himself at any previous time. And for the people who just take their Islam as alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim, well, it's bigger than that. Because I was trained that there's only two things going on this earth: belief, la ilaha illallah, and disbelief. Just those two. Everything else is like a facade. It's like something that keeps the disbelievers in a fog and makes the believers happy to be out of that fog. So it's just these two things: belief and disbelief. And belief and disbelief in proportion is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He'll give you an opportunity. Like sometimes I'm walking down the street, some people come up to me, they say, "Hey brother, hello, how are you?" So brother, I guess you're a Muslim, right? That's why you dress like that. I said, "Yeah, I'm a Muslim." They said, "Well, I want to ask you a question or two." And so that means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He put something in their mind to make them want to know more. That's the spark that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in them. Now, when He give them that spark, the duty of the Muslim is to talk to them in a nice way, to try to help them to find the right direction. So some people, that spark is enough to set them on the road. And if you see that person a year later, he'll be saying Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, wa la ilaha illallah, so but that another person in the same instance, the spark won't go through to his heart. So if you see him tomorrow or 5 years later, he may still be the same person he was when he first got the spark. But if you don't act on it, the spark, it needs to be fed like a fire. You gotta put wood on the fire and pamper it to the point that it grows and it starts to engulf you and become that's who you are, somebody different with faith. So this is actually the duty of the Muslim people, not just individuals that can perform that act. They're going to get a bigger reward, of course, because they're doing work that more people should be doing. And when you're a Muslim in your area, and you walking around, I'm a Muslim, yeah, I'm a Muslim, but you're not taking the time to explain to people something about this Islam, especially about Iman, not so much about the practice of Islam, but the faith, the belief that a Muslim has to have. So all of us are going to be held like, sort of in jeopardy of, the response that the public gives about the so-called Muslim who doesn't help the people to find their way if they need help. See, we're not ordered to be what's called proselytizers. We don't go around knocking on people's doors saying, "Good morning, I'm a Muslim. I came to talk to you about Islam." That's not, we're not proselytizers like that. But anybody that comes to you and asks you questions, or they really want to know, you can tell they really want to know. They try to come close enough to you to be able to ask you. You are obliged to give that person what they're asking for to the best of your ability. And if you don't have the ability, then you should send them or take them to somebody that has the ability. So when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will give you a good check mark saying, "Oh, he did his duty." See? But the people who pretty much ignore that, they're going to be responsible because the community at large is going to say, "Well, how can we know what to do? He wouldn't even talk to us. We asked him questions and he said, 'I don't have time right now. See me next week.'" So this is an allegation against those people. This is an allegation. Because in fact, just like there's only two things happening, belief and disbelief, there's only one thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking to the Muslims for, and that's for the representation that we learned from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to help people. So I'm talking in this simplistic way so that nobody can leave this time period here and not say that they didn't know that there's a responsibility on all Muslims, not just on one or two. And all Muslims should, their life should be about saving other people's lives. Their life should be about giving people the opportunity to know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like you do. So, I think this is very important that you have to know. Like if you start a business, your business is not just for you to put money in your pocket. Your business would be that the people would use your business as a dawah to say, did you ever go to the Muslim Brothers store? Man, those brothers are really good brothers, man. They're cool. It's like they never cheat anybody. You don't see fights or arguments. They don't sell no beer, no wine, none of that kind of stuff. Just got a good vibe in there with the Muslims. They'll stop and make prayer, close the store for 10, 15 minutes, make their prayer every day. So that's a type of dawah. The public is always looking for, they don't even know they don't know what to call it until they see it. Then they go, man, I should belong to that. In any case, that's what we're responsible for. We're responsible that our actions lead people in the right way. to the right things. Okay. So, if you're traveling doing Zohar and Asr, in which case you have permission to shorten both prayers by two rakat. And there's enough time before Maghrib for 3 rakat, 2 for Zohar and 1 for Asr. Then you are responsible for Zohar and Asr. Isaac, I kind of missed the end of the message. If you want to verbalize it, that's cool. Not necessary.
No, Sheikh, I was just putting a quote of what you said.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know you did that. MashaAllah. Okay, so now there's a note here. It says, you are not excused from praying when you are traveling. The facilities given are the shortening of Zohar, Asr, and Isha by 2 rakat each. Asr can be done in Zohar's time. This needs a lot of explanation. Asr can be done in Zohar's time, and Zohar can be done in the time of Asr. You should pray Maghrib by 3 rakat and Subh by 2 rakat, whether you are traveling or not. Okay. So when you get ready to travel, you have to make your itinerary. Your itinerary will be about your prayer times. So it will say to you, if you're going to travel and be traveling unable to make your prayer in its normal fashion, then Islam gives you permission to either make your Asr prayer early in Zohar's time, or to make your Zohar prayer late in Asr time. This is a facility for the people who will be in traveling procedure when prayer times come in. So Islam give you permission to Gama Zohar As or Gama Makro. Yani, it's to say that these things Islam allows because, you know, this traveler doesn't have the ability to do the things like he normally does. So they allow the traveler during Zohar's time, if he knows that he's going to travel all through Zohar, all through As, for him to be able to make As prayer early in Zohar's time. Or if he knows he's going to get to ground during Asr's period, he can wait and make his Zohar prayer during Asr's time. So, you know, this takes a lot of talk because most people don't get it the first couple of times. But anyway, this is basically how it looks. So your itinerary of travel and prayer, you always have to check and see what position will you be in, you know, for Zohar and As, or for Maghrib and Isha. So anyway, this is why, you know, people call me, they on a trip. They called me in the middle of the night and say, Shaykh, I didn't really get that. How should I combine these prayers? What am I allowed to do? And I'd be like, oh man, I told you guys, you know, why you didn't examine that before you leave? Because you think you can always just call and say, oh, just let me call Shaykh. He'll tell me. Well, I Shaykh be tired sometimes, you know, so you got to do your own lesson. You really do. You got to put some work in. You see that Dr. Rasul, Dr. Habib, you know, Haj Dawood, Abdullah ibn Islam, and many others, Omar, many others that you don't see. They put their work in. So, you know, they're bright lights for you. You know, I told you last week, get to know some of those brothers, man, that come from way back, because, you know, you're gonna need them. They're gonna be your guiding lights. You know, make sure you know who's who. You may have to reach out to them in the future, and I'm telling you ahead of time who they are, so you know who you know who to reach out to. I'm not telling you the women, because I'm kind of skeptical about these brothers and women with women. Kind of skeptical. You know, they got these other kind of ideas that they've developed over the years and made it seem like their idea is Islam's idea when it really is not. Okay, so it says, if an infidel is traveling during Zohr and Asr and converts to Islam, he is responsible for Zohr and Asr. If there's enough time for 3 rakah before Maghrib, 2 would be for Zohr and 1 for Asr. Now listen to me. I'm not telling you that the number of rakats for prayer has changed. I'm telling you, it's like a time frame. They're not giving how many rakats it's going to take to satisfy, your prayer. No, they're telling you just as a time frame how to measure whether you owe that one or don't owe this one or whatever. So you're going to look at, the time frame, whether, you have to make Zohr and Asr, or whether you have to make just Asr. So you have to look at where you are in time regarding, do you have enough time for 3 rakah, 2 rakah, 4 rakah, 5 rakah, whatever. And then you'll be able to make a decision on which prayer you owe. So I'm going to go over this more. I'm going to go over this more because these are not things that, they just click in your head quickly and, you got it after that. Unfortunately, we don't really take these things as serious as we take who won the basketball game. These are things that you need to have in your life until it's time for the next life, until it's time for the judgment, and like that. These type of things will travel with you if you do them properly, and they will be considered as virtues. There won't be any excuse for people who in fact have somebody who can teach them. If you don't have nobody that can teach you, Islam don't really, it's not going to penalize you unless you don't even try to find somebody who can teach you. This is the part that's difficult for the average person to comprehend fully, because, they're not looking into hell and, hearing this information, so they got to put it on the back of their brain someplace. And, it doesn't, with many people, it doesn't reappear into their mind until it's actually a fact. But by then it's too late because you can't go back and start over again. You can't redo this stuff. So, I try to get people to really understand this is our opportunity right now. If we blow our opportunity, we're not going to be so happy later. It'll be the people who will be rejoicing later who took advantage of the time that they have now to do the things that will put them in a good position later. So, don't let this dunya fool you and make you think that it's important. It's really not. It's really not, but it make you feel that way because the peer pressure, you see everybody else with this or that, doing this or that. And, a lot of times the person is not so strong and, or they haven't developed the habits necessary to avoid the trouble, because it's habits. It's habits. Once you have established a method to deal with those habits and, you just stick by your methodology, you probably be safe. But amongst those things, you need to know about what helps you and what hurts you. The thing that helps you is learning and practicing. The things that hurt you is learning, but not using what you learn. That hurts you. Okay. 10 minutes to 3. Dr. Habib. Ishaq, I want him to see if anybody has put questions.
I'm here, Shaykh. They did. I was just washing my hands. I'm sorry.
MashaAllah, okay. Where's Muhammad?
They're here.
They there?
They're here, yeah.
They're so quiet.
They were in the room and Ibrahim just ran up in the room. Hear him now.
I spoke too soon. Okay. Oh, look at that. Assalamu alaikum. My goodness. Don't you think they deserve a chance of a legacy that, they anyway, I don't want to talk about that no more. Okay, Dr. Rasul, can you look at the screen? What we got?
Yes, Shaykh. So far we have 3. Alhamdulillah, one person actually said you ended up answering a question. Alhamdulillah. So we got a couple questions from YouTube. One brother said, where'd you go? Okay, so someone said, you mentioned about gambling in the lottery. This brother is saying, he came from Africa. So
from where?
some of them from Africa. He didn't say what country. but he said some of the brothers and sisters from Africa came by winning the visa lottery. And they said it's a lottery, you know, and they asked, is that considered gambling, or what category is that?
Okay. So look, my people, you have to always realize or know what is Islam's interpretation of something. See, it's not so much how we interpret, it's how Islam interprets. So Islam interprets gambling as something you place your money on to try to win. If there's no money placed, it's not gambling. See, it's only gambling. I've explained this many times. The Publishers Clearinghouse. You don't have to put money on it to play it. You just got to fill out paperwork and whatever, you know. Some of you are more expert at these things, way more expert at these things than I am. I never played it in my life, but my wife asked me, and I let her play it because she don't have to put no money down to do it. So the ulama say, if you win something like that, that is just a matter of, you know, you put your name down, you don't have to spend no money to participate. You can consider that as a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you win $7,000 a week for life without having to put no money down, alhamdulillah, Allah sent you a gift that you can use it, you know, for good stuff. But if you have to pay money to play it, that's a crime. That's gambling, and you can't use that money for, you know, good deeds. Okay?
Nah, alhamdulillah. Thank you, Shaykh. The other question from YouTube, someone asked, they said, like the question. Oh, here we go. They said, when the Mahmoud in the Salat believes that the Imam made a mistake in prayer, can he verbally state the mistake while in prayer? Like, can he say to the Imam, you made such and such a mistake verbally?
Well, yeah, actually, there's some hadith regarding the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam making a request to the Sahaba praying behind him, when, you know, enough of them had say, subhanallah wa bihamdi, to make him know that something was wrong, and his mind couldn't, you know, he couldn't figure out exactly what was wrong on his own. So he asked them what was wrong, and they had the right to tell him. But you don't need like 10 people saying the same thing. You know, that's why the people who are standing in the front are supposed to be the more educated people. But today's time is different. Today's time, people who have no education force their way to the front so they can stand in the front line. But they don't understand it's a purpose for them to stand in the front line. Those are the ones who can help the Imam if there's a problem. You know, they don't need the people to stand in the front line who don't know nothing about how to help the Imam in case there's a problem. You know, so, mashallah. Yeah, but yeah, they have the right. They you know, if it becomes necessary, generally the older man, the older people, the people with scholarship, you know, that's standing in the line, the Hafiz, you know, these type of people will quickly, you know, tell the Imam so and so and so, and he'll correct it, and they keep praying. So, as you like.
Alhamdulillah. So I don't think there are any more right now. Inshallah, I don't know if anybody has their hand up. Aha, Brother Frank. Listen, I went Frank straight to you, Brother Frank. Let me see if Brother Frank has his hand up.
Ibrahim, I know you want to ask a question, Ibrahim, but you gotta wait. Go ahead, Frank.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I know in the past you've talked about praying, and for example, I think you mentioned that we can't really pray in a car.
Wait, Frank, you have to modulate your voice because you don't feel well today?
I'm a little tired. How do I turn this up? Oh, I'm sorry. I had the volume down. Sorry.
Okay.
I know in the past you've mentioned that you can't pray in a car. But I'm thinking about an airplane flying to Indonesia in the air for 24 hours. We obviously would have to pray in our seat.
Allahumma salli wa sallam mubarak ala Sayyidina Muhammad. No, obviously is the wrong word, because if you're traveling on an airline that supports prayer, they usually have a small area that people can go into that area and make their prayer in the normal way, not sitting in their seats. Now they have some different kind of talk from people in Saudi that, you know, they respond differently to that question. They tell you, yeah, go ahead, sit down and make the prayer. But in fact, the people of the Madhab Imam Malik, we say no. Itinerary for travel, because, you know, once you realize I'm going to be in the air at this time, you don't want to be making your prayer sitting down and, you know, and you're flying or on a ship. So you're gonna use your gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that says, okay, you can make Zohar, you can make Asr and Zohar's time, or you can make Zohar and Asr time. But in fact, they have airlines that cater to people who pray, and they have an area in the back of the plane that, you know, you can wait and pray your prayers on, you know, in the regular way on that airline. So, you know, it's not obvious that you should pray sitting down, because in the Madhab Imam Malik, you're not allowed to pray any of your fard prayers, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Subh, sitting down unless you have an ailment, you know, physical ailments that won't allow you to do it in this regular way. And this is like, you know, this is information that people need to know, because they're inventing their own fiqh. Like I had so many arguments with people because they wanted to, not arguments, but trying to explain to them that, you know, you can't be driving your car and, you know, Asr time is running out, and you want to pull your car over and make Asr sitting down in your car and consider that you made Asr prayer. You haven't made Asr. The Islam rejects that process 100%. That, you know, you have to, you know, get out of your car, try to put your car in an area where, you know, you don't have to worry about the danger of other cars running into you. And, you know, always have something that you can pray on, and, you know, you make your prayer in this regular way. So for the people from the past, they used to always make their prayer sitting down on the train and in the car. And, you know, I don't know what they thought they were doing, but they wasn't making salat. So when the information finally caught up to them and they took it from somebody who they could take it from, you know, they realized that they had a lot of prayers that they did wrong. MashaAllah. Okay, what else you got?
I got Ibrahim.
I hear him.
Bam. Alhamdulillah. Haj Dawood has his hand up. So I believe he had a question. Inshallah.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh Ameen.
Alaikum salam, Haj.
What about the direction you face in when you're on an airplane or a boat?
Well, those planes that cater to the prayer, they actually have the Qibla and everything. It's already in place, and they'll tell you on the speaker, you know, we're going to go in this direction. You can actually see it on the board that, you know, and then, you know, you'll have all these other people, even people who are employees from the airline, and they'll make theirs in the same direction too. So, you know, it would be kind of difficult to get mixed up. If everybody's praying that way, and here you come, you want to pray this way, you know, you're probably wrong and they're right. So that's how they've made those things applicable for the praying people, so they don't have a lot of difficulty when they have to try to find directions on the plane and so on and so forth, and know the times. And, you know, they actually help you. Those planes that cater to the prayer, they actually try to help the people, especially going to Mecca.
Okay, what should you do if you not on one of the ones who's catered to the prayer and you don't know the direction of the
Then
Qibla?
you should use our itinerary to find out how long will you stay in there before, you know, you have the ability to come to land and find the right, you know, everything. You know, it's better to do that than to guess.
Shukran.
Unless you have a, what do you call those things, Haj?
A compass?
Yes. If you have a compass, then alhamdulillah. You know, but it's better to find out the right answer than to guess. As you like.
Excuse me, I just had to sneeze. Alhamdulillah, nobody else has any questions. Type in the chat.
I have a question.
Yes, Omar.
I was recently gifted a trip to make Umrah. I had never flew to Saudi Arabia, so I didn't really know what to expect. But what you just said about the place to make prayer, they didn't have anything. And in fact, on the entire plane, nobody was praying. Even when we got to Abu Dhabi, I went in the bathroom to make wudu. Then it was a question of which way should I pray? When I'm in America, I pray towards the east. But when I was in Abu Dhabi, I didn't know where was east, where was Mecca or Mihrab. I didn't know where it was. And you ask people, it's like I'm in a country where there's no Muslim. They didn't know nothing. I go to the bathroom, make wudu, they're making wudu all kind of ways. They're not even making wudu. So it was a real problem for me trying to find out how to make my prayer. So what do you do in a situation like that?
Situation like that, you do the best you can and hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still accept your prayer, because you know it's not your fault that what other people do. You know, it's only your fault if you was avoiding making your prayer, if you wasn't trying to find the right way. You know, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He takes that into account. You do the best you can. My advice would be to know your itinerary and to take advantage of the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, so that when you come to land, you can find the information you need to make up the prayers that you haven't made, that you don't feel you made properly.
Okay. Shukran.
One.
Someone asked the question, what is the Fiqh ruling on physical abuse? And I think they're talking about physical abuse in terms of physical abuse in terms of disciplining children. If I'm wrong, then inshallah, please clarify.
Okay, say the question again.
They asked, what is the Fiqh ruling on physical abuse? I think what they mean is physical abuse. I'm sorry, I'm taking the voice out now. Physical abuse that someone does, claiming that they're doing it to discipline children. So basically, what should you do if you hear about somebody going overboard with disciplining the kids?
Well, first of all, raising of children is everybody's responsibility. It's not like the parents. It's like the parents have this saying, it's my kid. It's not your kid. You got the kid on loan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he like, you know, he don't let people just do anything they want to do when it comes to kids. Now, yeah, some people go overboard with punishments. Islam don't like that. As a matter of fact, that type of abuse is considered as haram. That type of abuse is considered as haram. Now, the thing is, I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. The thing is that some people have really bad parenting skills, you know, and you know they got bad tempers, bad temperaments that they think that they know what they're doing, but actually they're doing more damage than good. So a kid is the responsibility, like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you need a whole village to raise a child. When we were growing up, meaning older guys like me, if you got in trouble in the neighborhood, one of the old people would come downstairs, grab you by your collar, shake you like that, maybe have a strap in their hand, spank your butt, take you up to their house, and sit you in there till your parents came home. Then when your parents came home, if your mom came home first, she'd take you in your house, spank your butt again, and tell you, you wait till your father come home. Your father come home, you know, that's the problem. He gonna beat your butt again, and then he gonna give you some kind of punishment or work to do, and like that. In any case, nowadays it's really a bad thing to do to be abusive to children. They have gone overboard with children being able to defend themselves against abuse. And they've made it like everybody's problem that if like let's say it comes to surface that there was some abuse going on in the house, they're gonna go to the next door neighbor to the person whose window is across from your window, and they're gonna be questioning those people as if to say, why didn't nobody call us? If there was that kind of abuse going on, you didn't hear nothing, you ain't never seen nothing, you know. So yeah, the things are different now. Now things are like everybody who could have helped, if you didn't help, it's like you committed a crime too, you know. So yeah, I would suggest that we try to protect the children from abuse, man. That's like, I hate bullies. I've hated bullies since as long as I can remember, even in elementary school. Never had any respect for bullies. You know, people who have to have, you know, 5 other people behind them, and then they'll take your lunch and stuff like. I never liked bullies, so that's why we learned how to fight. But in any case, in this, any little old lady, any teenager, anybody who knows about the abuse, they have hotlines that you just have to say, look, I'm pretty sure there's some abuse going on and so on. So, and it's their duty, it's their mandatory duty to check it out. A lot of times there was no abuse, but their duty is to check it out. So that's what I'm telling you. You know, every city has it. Every city has things put in place to protect the children. Okay, as you like, Dr. Rasul.
Yes, Sheikh. Why as you were speaking, the questioner also asked the same question about spousal abuse.
About what?
Spousal abuse. If you know a man is putting his hands on his wife in that way.
Well, Allahumma salli wa salam mubarak ala Sayyidina Muhammad. It's basically the same, but not exactly. Because the wife, you know, the woman, she's an adult. She can pick up the telephone and call for help. You know, children can't do that. But, you know, she don't have to take that. You know, if he's abusing her like that, you know, she should do like Medea said. You put the grease in the hot water, put it to a boil. When money closes his eyes, splash him. He won't mess with you no more. Because he'll think this chick is crazy. He'll stay far away from you as he possibly can. Because he gotta go to sleep sometime. He's liable to never wake up again messing with you. So, you know, with women, it's a little different because they don't have to take abuse. You know, I mean, you know, usually their problem is mental. That, you know, the guy has gotten into their head to the point that, you know, they so afraid of them, they won't do what they gotta do to protect themselves. You know, I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I don't understand that. I've always taught my daughters that, you know, you don't take abuse from nobody. He may slap you around once, and that's, you know, you go with it. So okay, all right, yeah, all right, brother. I'm gonna behave myself. As soon as he go to sleep, you give him the business that he never had before and was not expecting, and I guarantee you, he's gonna want to get as far away from you as possible, because he know every time he closes his eyes, he's liable to get it. So he want to get away from you. So, you know, for women, you know, you have the right to. Let me say something. I was in Brooklyn. I came home after being with Dr. Dunya. I came to my house, and it was this guy on the stoop harassing this woman, choking her and stuff, you know. And my wife said, "Oh my God," because I live right there on the first floor. My wife said, "Oh my God, go help that lady." I'm like, I really don't want to get involved in this Cooper stuff here, this Dunya stuff, you know. I really don't want to get involved. Oh, you know, they can't hurt you. You go ahead and help the lady. I went out my front door. I told the guy, yo, listen, man, you can't be beating this lady up right here on my stoop. And my window is right there. My kids in there and everything. So the guy, he went a little bonkers at me. You know, what do you think you're talking to, brother? You can't tell me what I can do, what I can. So, you know, of course, you know, I'm defensive. I'm defensive minded. And, you know, I slammed him up against the wall. So when I slammed him up against the wall, guess what happened? I know some of the old school brothers, they know. The woman, huh?
She came and fought you.
Yeah, the woman tried to help him jump me. I told my wife, don't never call me for this nonsense again. The woman tried to help the guy who was abusing her jump me, and I was trying to save her. So, you know, you gotta like really think this stuff out. God didn't used to always tell me that I'm not allowed to get myself involved in stuff that, you know, I have to really think that out first, because the Muslims may need me, and then if I don't protect myself in a way that, you know, saves personal harm and injury, you know, I would be considered as a liable, because I didn't do the right thing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, he wouldn't appreciate me put myself in jeopardy like that. So yeah, you gotta really, you know, when it comes to the woman part, you gotta really think that out, because sometimes, you know, women like that type of some of them like that type of abuse. You know, they like it. It's like, you know, if she's not being slapped around by some guy, then she think the guy don't love her. I mean, believe me, yeah, I'm not allowed to do what's called hypothetical. I'm telling you actual facts. That if the guy don't slap her around, you know, that he don't love her. That's how she thinks. That's crazy, but that's the reality of things. So I try to not get involved in the woman man situation, unless if the woman comes, you know, and I will tell her, you know, go to the police, you know, because if I have to try to protect her, do my own policing, you know, that guy may come up, he may disappear or something, and then now I got a case. I got to spend the next 10 years in prison. So yeah, they got the police department. That's their job. But if it's kids, if it's a kid, and I can understand what's going on, I'm going to do something about that. Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, is that an echo on my phone?
Say it again.
I think there's an echo on my phone. Can you hear me okay, Shaykh?
I can hear you.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So, Shaykh, I want to ask this follow-up question. It's a little redundant. You kind of answered it, but I just want to be clear. And I won't make it a hypothetical. I'll give a specific situation. If I'm walking down the block or driving down the block, and I see a man, you know, putting his hands on a lady, what's the best thing to do? Is it to call the police?
Was there other people in the street?
No.
No other people.
No other people.
Okay, go ahead.
Is the best thing for me to do to call the? I don't normally. This is just me. I don't normally like to call the police because I know what the police sometimes do. But is the best thing for me to do to call the police and say, I seen a guy on such and such block putting his hands on a lady, come and do something about it? Is that the best thing to do, or is
generally under those type of conditions and there's nobody else around, it's better to call the police. It's better to call the police. But if it looks like, see, listen, if it looks like he get ready to kill her, you know, and you're a person who has been trained to defend yourself or to help by defending other people, then, you know, you do what you can do with what is in your ability. See, but in general, it's better to call the police because that's what they're trained for. unfortunately, the police have such a bad name that, you know, nobody really wants to call the police, because, you know, you would have to actually visually see the person doing something they're not supposed to do to hurt somebody, you know. And because you don't know the whole story, you know, you don't want to be responsible for somebody getting dead when actually the person was robbing them or something. You know, you don't know the whole story. But generally, that's a police job. That's not your job.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair, Shaykh.
Okay.
And Shaykh, there's one more question now. I mean, maybe there'll be another one, but there's one more question here from the YouTube. And thank you, Sidi Ishaq, for fielding the questions from the YouTube. We got a lot of them today. This person asks, how long can you shorten your prayers while traveling? Do you continue to shorten even if you are traveling for a month?
So there's some different opinions about that. Some schools say you can do it for, you know, 5 days. Some say 7 days. Some say you can do it as long as you are traveling, which could be anywhere up to a month. But in the madhab Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi, they tell you 1 week. 1 week, and then you have to go back to praying normal. More? Is that enough? I'm not getting any response. Are we on mute?
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Maybe Dr. Habib can't hear you.
Oh, he probably put himself on mute by accident. Jamil Allen. Jamil Allen, I see your picture here with your graduation clothes on. I want to commend you for that. That is exactly what you should do at your age. Exactly. Yeah. Because before you know it, you'll be 5 years older, and then you'll be contending with the people who completed their education while they're like 5 years younger than you, and they're gonna be trying to get jobs. And you know, if you haven't completed your education, you know, you're gonna be considered as like, you know, an old timer now, or old school or whatever. And you know, you'd have to go back to school to fix up your stuff so that, you know, you'll be able to get a better job. So it's better to do it while you're young and get it done. You know, that stuff that our parents were telling us, that was sound advice. They may have had different reasons for saying it to you, but that's sound advice. When your moms and your pops are telling you, look, man, you got to go to school and get this degree. You got to do that, you know, because I'm not going to be able to support you forever. You know, you got to get this done, man, so you can get your own place and get your own car and, you know, get your own life. And, you know, Muslims don't have to be poor, man. I keep emphasizing this. Muslims do not have to be poor. As a matter of fact, Muslims should try to be in charge of wherever he is. He should try to be the best paid, the healthiest, you know. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I'm sorry about that. I'm back. I got disconnected.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. These are machines. You know, this stuff happens to machines. But, you know, I'm just telling the people, you know, that my teacher, you know, he was keen on the Muslims in America here to know that they, you know, they have an opportunity to do something unique. You know, they can come from chattel slavery to being the president of the United States. They can come from abject poverty to become, you know, one of the Fortune 500. So, you know, this doesn't, when you're doing this type of stuff, don't listen to those guys who used to tell the brothers, oh, you can't do that because, you know, that's kufa. Yeah, right. Meanwhile, you got to pay your rent. You got to buy food for your family. You know, you need your car to get back and forth to go to work. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. Islam didn't create the Muslims and say, oh, you guys all got to be poor. That's nuts, man. You don't have to be poor. You know, like take a person like me, you know, because my teacher always told me, use yourself as an example. A person like me, you know, I worked for a long time. I retired. But, you know, I have no aspirations for worldly things. That's the only reason I don't have it, because I don't really want it. You know, if I wanted it, I could have had it, but I don't want it. I don't even think of in terms of that. It's like when I want to go someplace, I call the Jeep. I said, Jeep, you got your car? Jeep said, all right, Shaykh, I'll come and get you. Or, you know, some other brother, you know. And, you know, I've been like living like this for a long time. I've been living like this so long that I couldn't even imagine having ownership of stuff like that, you know? So, you know, it depends on the person. A lot of times people own stuff because they want to be on par with the other guy. Not because they actually need it, but because they want to be on par with the other guy. Assalamu alaikum, Ibrahim. So you know, like my teacher used to say, when you increase in the things that you own, your responsibilities go up higher. So, you know, it takes you away from, you know, maybe something else, ibadah you want to do, because now you got to watch over your property. See? So me, I don't really have that type of interest, but I'm not telling you to be, don't listen. If I tell you to be poor, you don't listen to me. You say, man, Shaykh, I'm going crazy. You got the right to have any legal thing that you desire, as long as it's legal by Islamic standard. See? Like I got galabias, right? Once I see that I'm getting too many galabias, now that's, they got a name for it, excessive. I put the galabias together and I'll give them away to people that, you know, that may need a galabia. That way I keep mine limited. You know, nobody needs all this stuff. And, I mean, you know. Anyway, okay. You need to tell me something else. I'm listening. I'm just running out of time.
Nah, if anybody had a question while I was cut off, I didn't see it. So retype it, inshallah. But it looks like maybe that's it for today. Shaykh,
Good.
inshallah.
Good. So Shaykh Hassan once, he said, you know, they asked him, they said, well, Shaykh, you know, you driving this expensive Hummer, you know. You know why you got this expensive Hummer? So Shaykh Hassan, he looked kind of puzzled. He said, well, what should I do? You know, it's like, if Allah give me the ability to have a Hummer, shouldn't I show, like, you know, the barakah that he gave? You know, so that people know that even though we Muslims, you know, we don't have to be poor. And I thought about that, you know, and it made a lot of sense. Just because, you know, you a Shaykh or Imam or whatever, don't mean you gotta be poor. Just gotta be halal. Okay. Ibrahim, what you doing? Look how big you are now. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. He's still acting bashful.
You getting shy? You getting bashful?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Do y'all need me for something else right now? If not, I got other things to do. Frank, did you stick your hand up, Frank?
Oh, I didn't, Sheikh Ameen. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So you see this? See that my book I read from? Omar surprised me, and he sent me this book because it wasn't always in an orderly fashion like that. And he had it put together, and they binded it and everything. And he sent it to me, and I was like really surprised. So that just show you he's been around a long time, and he's put in a lot of service. So you know, if you have the ability, you know, you may want to talk to him some. And there's so many people, man, over the years. So many people. Anyway, okay, I'm happy to have had a good day with you guys. I know a lot of sisters have questions. They don't really want to say them with people, other people listening, brothers and stuff. So that makes sense why they, you know, they kind of back off from asking certain type of questions. But you know, I don't know what to do about that problem. Actually, just like try to keep your identity a secret, and you may feel more comfortable with asking your questions, inshallah. Okay, I'm gonna go now, inshallah. I'll talk to you next week. If I'm not here, somebody, inshallah, will be here. Okay.
And checking me, I just say to the sisters, in case anybody was unaware, you can always type your question as a direct message to me. And anybody who types their question directly to me, I never say who it is, right?
Thank
so
you.
If you want to ask a question and keep yourself anonymous, just type it in the text. Nobody will know who you are except me, but I'll make sure not to announce it to the group, inshallah. Jazakallah, thank you so much, Shaykh Ameen.
So that takes away that problem. It's like
Yes, indeed.
It's like something you want to say to the people? No? Everything okay? Okay. اللهم إني أسألك من كل خير سألك منه محمد نبيك صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك منه محمد نبيك صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما لنا وما أنت عالم به من نار ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنا وفي الآخرة حسنا وقنا عذاب النار اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الماء والممات ومن فتنة القبر ومن فتنة المسيح الدجال ومن عذاب النار وسوء المصير وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. السلام عليكم.
Walaikum salam, Shaykh.
Walaikum salam.
Amir, you okay? Amir?
Yes, Sheikh. I'm on the road with my wife. Yes, I'm all right. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum.